Okay, so funny story. I recorded this intro once already and did the first 3 recipes of this video. And then discovered that this camera was turned around backwards and recording out of the front. So I still got the food on camera with my overhead, but you won't see my pretty face while I make it. But we live and we learn and we try and fix and we try and get my head back in the game because I seem to have had a lot of camera problems lately. I promise I'll work on that. But anyway, we are going to do something a little bit different today. As you can tell, we're in the kitchen. That usually means meal prep. So we're meal prepping, but I am going to meal prep meat for the entire summer to grill. I came a little bit late to the party last year, but last year I discovered that I love grilling. I love the smoky flavor. I like cooking outside. I really like that it doesn't heat up my kitchen on those really hot days. But what I don't like is having to remember to marinate meat in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I just don't function well. So I don't remember to start the meat marinating when it needs to. So I decided that this summer I was going to set up everything. Put all my meat and marinades in bags, put it in the freezer, and that way I just have to pull it out, let it thaw, and cook it up. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I thought somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 18 pounds of meat. We're just going to go until I run out of meat. And I don't really have particular recipes. We're just going to cook. Sounds like fun, right? The first one we're going to do is a honey mustard. And I've got one bag here that's got pork chops in it and one bag here that's got chicken tenderloins. And we're just going to do the same thing in both bags. I have already labeled the bags. We're going to try and remember to label all the bags today because I'm really not good at that. This is my favorite mustard. So we're just going to start with a nice sized blob. Couple of tablespoons. Several tablespoons. I can talk today, right? And do the same type of thing in here. And then some honey, because it's not honey mustard chicken without honey. Couple of tablespoons. That looks good. And then you know what? I need some salt and pepper. A few grinds of pepper. And a good pinch of salt. And then I'm going to add a splash of apple cider vinegar to both of these too. About like that. Easy, right? And this is the first time I have used these bag holder things. I got them for Christmas. I've seen other creators use them. And I thought it might be good for doing things like this in bags, but this is the first time I've gotten to use them. I'll tell you, I'm really liking them. We're just going to squeeze the air out of these and seal them up. And then kind of give them a good squelch around to mix everything. And then flatten them out. This way they will freeze faster and thaw faster when it comes time for that. It's a little harder to squelch the pork together because there's bones in this one. If you don't want bone-in pork chops, don't get bone-in pork chops. If you want to use dark meat chicken, use dark meat chicken. I use tenderloins because that's what I like. There's some more air to be gotten out of this one. And then these can go right in the freezer, just like that. And I'm gonna do that right now and then set up for the next recipe, and I'll see you back in a second. The next recipe we're gonna do is a maple chipotle. And I've again got pork, but this time I've got beef, and this is round steak here. It's about a pound of either. So we're gonna start with some pepper. My pepper grinder wants to cooperate. And some salt, because we always need salt. And then some cumin. About a tablespoon of cumin. And some garlic. I'm gonna do about 1.5 tablespoons of garlic. I like a lot of garlic. And some chipotles and adobo. And this is a fairly new ingredient to me. But I'll tell you, I'm having some fun experimenting with it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put the whole peppers in here. And then if we want to throw the peppers on the grill too, if we feel like it, we can. And a can into the steak. Now, if you want to use honey for this, you can. Honey would work out real well, but I've seen it done with maple, and I had some syrup that needed to be used, so I figured I'd try it this way. And then we're just going to do the whole squelch and flatten thing again. Oops, that one came open. That could have been very bad. Okay, once again, I am going to put these in the freezer, set up for our next recipe, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, on to our third recipe. Harissa lime chicken. So this one I'm just doing 2 batches of chicken with. Give my harissa a stir because it likes to settle a little bit. Put maybe 2 big spoonfuls in each bag. This stuff's pretty spicy, so a little bit goes a long way. Now there's other brands that aren't as spicy. And truthfully, and unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the brand I'm using has been discontinued. At least I can't get it on Amazon anymore. So I'm gonna have to get a new brand of harissa. If you have any suggestions, let me know those down below in the comments. But we've got a couple of spoonfuls of harissa in each of those. And I'm going to add in a couple good squirts of lime juice. And I broke out the big thing of cumin because the little one was getting empty. That's about half a tablespoon of cumin. Not as much as in the chipotle. And then some salt. Some garlic. Some pepper. And you know, I think I want to add a little bit of oil to this one. Just a couple tablespoons. That's not even a couple tablespoons, maybe 2 tablespoons. Which is a couple, isn't it? I don't know. Brain gone. A couple tablespoons of olive oil. Said everything honey. I wanted to put honey in this. I almost forgot an ingredient again. Couple tablespoons of honey. You probably could mix it up and use the maple in this one too, but I've made it before with honey and I like it that way, so I'm sticking that way. You've seen the squelch and flatten thing by now, so you know what I'm gonna do. If you can't tell, it's getting kind of warm in my kitchen, so I might take a little bit of a break, cool down, and see you back for the rest of the recipes shortly. So it's been a few hours since we did that. What was the last one we did? The harissa chicken. The kitchen's cooled down a little, I've cooled down a little, and it's time for our next recipe. Which for this one, this is a take on an Alton Brown recipe. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know I really love Alton Brown. And I don't have enough chicken in this. No, we can make that work. We can go with 4. No, I need more chicken than that. More chicken. So where was I? If you've watched this channel for a while, you know I love Alton Brown. And my local library does this thing called a cookbook club, where they pick a cookbook and everyone checks it out, and we'll save that one for another recipe. And then we all cook a dish out of that cookbook, and we bring it in and have like a potluck dinner together and get to talk about the food and try all the different things. Well, last month, because I requested it, was an Alton Brown cookbook. And this is a variation on the recipe that I made for it. It's meant to be done with a whole bird, but because I want to do this on the grill, I just want pieces. But it's seasoned with za'atar and Aleppo. And this was my first experience with Aleppo, and let me tell you, it is delicious. Let me wash my chickeny hand, and then we'll get this all seasoned. All right, now like I said, this is going to be a little bit different than the recipe that he did, because I'm adapting it to be able to stick in the freezer and then on the grill. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some salt to my chicken. You'll notice that I'm seasoning this one on the cutting board and not in the bag. And that is because the original recipe wasn't so much of a marinade as just a seasoning rub. So we're gonna do this as a seasoning rub and then add a couple more ingredients into the bag. And this is the Aleppo pepper. I do believe this is from the Middle East, just like za'atar is. Now in the Alton recipe, he melts down some butter and puts the Aleppo and the za'atar into the butter to create kind of a paste, and then brushes it on the meat. But I didn't want to add that much butter going onto the grill with flames and everything. Now za'atar is a Middle Eastern seasoning that consists of sumac, thyme, marjoram, I believe oregano, and sesame seeds. I'm gonna have to get more pepper. I was hoping I could get through all these recipes without refilling the pepper grinder, but I don't think I'm gonna. Then we're just gonna flip all this over. I should have been doing this with my left hand so I could continue seasoning with my right, but thus is life. We're just going to season the other side. You know what? I am going to wash off this hand. 1 second. And some pepper. Basically everything we put on the first side is going on the second one too. Za'atar. Aleppo. Now this is actually not that hot of a pepper, which is why I'm putting it on so generously. And then just on this side, we're gonna add some garlic. Because I'm running out of garlic, so that's why we're just doing the one side. And the original recipe didn't even call for garlic, which frankly struck me as a little weird because doesn't garlic go with everything? Okay, I'm gonna get these in the bags. Got the one bag for the beef. We'll put the chicken tenderloins in one bag. And the chicken breasts in the other. That was not where that went. There we go. You know the deal. Gotta get unchickeny again. Alright, and then we're just gonna put, I need some olive oil. And then we're just gonna put some olive oil. And again, this wasn't in the original recipe, but I think I'm going to add just a little bit of lemon juice. like about a tablespoon. But that's all I'm going to do to that one. So I'm going to take care of the whole squelch and flatten thing and then set up for our next recipe. And once again, I will see you again in a minute. So this one, we're going to build a little bit differently because I haven't made this in a long time. And frankly, I kind of don't remember what goes in it. So I want to be able to taste the marinade as I go. I'm going to start with a couple of cups of hot water. And you'll see why. Not that one. This one's already open. And then into that, we're going to put a few spoonfuls of molasses. In these bags, I've got pork tenderloin. And you know how you buy it in the 2-pack? You've got 2 of them. I put 1 in each bag. I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to be enough molasses for 2. That looks right. This is going to be a coffee molasses pork loin. So we've got the molasses, and this is instant espresso powder. It's a little bit different than instant coffee. And this one has been opened and is, let's see if we can get it to dissolve this way. Ah! Don't do that. See how much of that we got out. Not all of it. We'll try again. Maybe with a spoon. I do have another jar of this. I just hate the idea of wasting what's in here. And I'm going to taste this. Yeah, I think it's more coffee. Well, it seems that that is indeed all of the instant espresso powder that I have. So we're going to make this work. Into this, I'm going to add some minced garlic. And some salt. And I refilled my pepper grinder. So some pepper. And some thyme. And mustard powder. And cumin. Not that much cumin. And this is Worcestershire sauce. So a couple tablespoons of that. I need another spoon. gonna add a little soy sauce too. I wasn't sure if I was gonna, but I am. And we're gonna try some oregano. This isn't something I usually put in here, but I haven't gotten this recipe just quite right yet. Nice new spoon. This is my attempt at making something that I ate on vacation a few years ago, and it was the best piece of pork I'd ever put in my mouth. It just made me go, wow. And I've been trying to recreate it ever since, and I'm close, but it's just not quite there. We'll try that. And I'm just gonna pour about half of this. It came out to about 3 cups, so I'm gonna put about half of this in each. Scrape out the spices, because flavor. I'm gonna get these into the freezer and reset, and I think we've got 2 more that we're gonna try to do today. All right, so it's been a little while because I had to run to the store to get something for our last recipe, but I went ahead and prepped the meat for both of our last 2 recipes because all of the meat for that is going to be in pieces. These I'm going to put on skewers and cook as kebabs. This is another recipe inspired by my library's cookbook club. This is a garlic ginger chicken. So I've got about 1 pound of chicken pieces in each of these. And this is about 2 inches is how they measure, well, 1 inch per batch is how they measured it in the recipe of fresh grated ginger. So I'm just gonna put that in there. And it needs a couple tablespoons of oil. And a splash of lemon juice. A bit of salt. And garlic. I have never bought this before, but I did not have enough garlic to finish these recipes, so I was going to have to buy some when I was out anyway. And I'm getting a little tired after doing all of these, so I decided to give myself a present of pre-mixed garlic to finish these up. So some garlic, some cumin, some garam masala. This is an Indian spice. And a bit of chili powder. And that is all that goes in there. That one's really easy too, isn't it? I'm going to reset and I will see you back for our last recipe. Okay, last one. And I just realized that my overhead lighting wasn't on in the last clip. Sorry about that. Hopefully it looks okay. This is the first recipe that I grilled last year, and it's my favorite, and that's why we're doing 4 of them. 2 beef and 2 chicken. So I'm going to start by adding about a teaspoon or so of sesame seeds to each bag, or you know what, we're just going to add all the sesame seeds I have. I need to remember to buy more sesame seeds. This is a bulgogi recipe that I don't know how authentic it is, but I found it on the internet and I'm in love with it. And then the equivalent of a couple of cloves of garlic. That was so much easier than chopping all that garlic. And about half a tablespoon of ginger, grated ginger. That's what that word is, grated. And then here, I have 2 bunches of chopped up green onions, and we're just going to distribute those roughly evenly. And spill them everywhere. Yes, I probably should have put them in a bowl or on a larger cutting board. And then 1/3 cup of soy sauce in each one. This is a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm just going to eyeball it. Guess I'm going to need more soy sauce, huh? And then this is the ingredient I had to go to the store for. Some cooking sherry. And it just takes about 2 tablespoons per batch. And then the last and final ingredient is, this bottle is not open and I did not realize that, some sesame oil. This stuff is potent, but so flavorful. So each bag is going to get 2 tablespoons of this. Now, if you want this to have a little bit more of a kick, you can add some red pepper flake. But this is the way I like it, so this is the way I'm going to stick with it. And that is our last recipe for today. And just like that, we have 17 bags of pre-prepared meat, roughly 17 pounds, in 7 recipes. And this should last all summer. I am very much looking forward to grilling. But that's all I have for today. So if you enjoyed this video, if you could give it a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye!